Hello, everybody. Listening to the Fair Weather Podcast. Your boy 2K Suave. I am joined with Mr. Alex Rodriguez, Mr. Victor Rivera, and back like he never left, Mr. Sammy. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys for not kicking me out.
That's the last thing we would do. Come on, Sammy. You family, dog. A-Rod over here dressed like, he thinks he dressed like he going to court. He looks like a 1960s like mobster or something like that, like about to like finesse somebody for for their chain or something like that. So,
And I
uh,
went to show houses like this. Chill.
and Vic, always repping. What's going on, Vic? How you doing?
I was living the dream, KK. Happy to be here.
I'm happy to be here too, man. There's a lot to talk about. Like for real, I don't know how these things is always play themselves out, but it's like every Wednesday or whenever we're able to record, it's always like on Tuesday, on Monday, I'm already thinking about man, I wonder what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
always, it's just something just clicks, and it's the world of sports. So we got a lot to get to today, but we're gonna start with some crazy, wacky, funny shit. I'm gonna start with you, Sam, because we haven't seen you in a little bit. So what you got going on in your end from a crazy, wacky, funny perspective?
Man, I don't have anything funny, but I will stay in the soccer realm and talk about how excited I am seeing like three pretty much dual Nats play for Morocco last week for the national team for the first time. Watching a lot of the training videos and all that stuff. Looks like the guys all love each other. They're all really young, all under the age of 25 years old, including the one, the only Brahim Diaz, who showed up and showed out. Still got to learn how to score, though, so that kind of worries me because we weren't able to, or we scored one goal. I think it was on a PK anyway. So, but other than that, yeah, I'm excited to see what these young boys bring to the African Cup. Then, of course, when we make noise again in the next iteration of the World Cup, hopefully the four of us can go to a game.
Hey, I don't know about that life. Vic, what you got?
So a couple of crazy losses by the Boston Celtics since the last time we've been on. But it happens. The Bucks lost to the Wizards last night. Nobody's talking about that. But hey, I get it. It comes with the
'Cause
territory.
everybody knows the Bucks suck, but back to the Celtics.
Yeah.
What does Atlanta have over y'all, bro? Like, what's going on?
It's these crappy teams that it was the Pistons for a long time too. But it is what it is. But crazy, even crazier than that. I believe the Red Sox have started out. What was it, 5-1 now?
Two.
What's that?
5-2. 5-2.
5-2. 5-2 now. Yeah. So pretty crazy stuff.
Hey, Rod.
I mean, we're gonna hit on it a little bit, but I'm like a Bill's Nostradamus over here with shit. So
I mean, talk about news we didn't expect to get today, right? It's like
I
it was
was
rainy, ugly outside today, and then boom, it was like what
Oh.
10:35. Well, what you got?
I thought this was really crazy. I was watching, so I don't know if you guys watched the Manchester City Arsenal game on Sunday. So absolute snooze fest. I mean, it was entertaining if you're like a soccer fan because it was kind of back and forth, but nobody scored. It ended 0-0. But what's crazy to me is that Liverpool keeps winning, even though they have like, if you look at their list of injuries of their entire team, like everybody's been injured the entire year. And for some reason, they're still having the stranglehold on first place in the Premier League, which is to me, that's crazy that Manchester City and Arsenal just still can't catch them. I mean, it's close. It's within 1 to 2 points, but still, like, it just seems like it's unfortunate for them. But anyway.
I got a crazy one too, actually. Well, this is an interesting one for all you Welcome to Wrexham fans. Spoiler alert: Wrexham is at the top of the table in League Two. Well, not top of the table. They're fighting for the final automatic promotion spot. So, they could be in League. Wait, are they in League Two or League One? They're in League Two right now. They could be in League One next year.
In the championship, right? Yeah.
No, championship is after League One. So,
gotcha.
Pretty remarkable investment for Ryan and Rob McInerney, especially if they can make the championship. I mean, that would be a massive increase. So, good for them, and good for Welcome to Rex in the show.
Well, I had something else for I have a two-parter. All right, first and foremost, since we're talking about the sport that they call soccer and over here, football over in other places, that Manchester United Brentford finish the other day, I now you're going to see what I go through, y'all. Right? I mean, you see, like you see the heartbreak that I got to deal with. Like, I honestly just want to just slit it all and just go, bro. Like, it's like I don't understand how horribly we can play. Somehow, somehow score with a little bit of time left on the after time and everything like that, and then we give up a goal like 22 seconds later. So it's stupid. That is a
Crazy
life
stuff.
of a Manchester United fan, and that's one thing. But crazy thing that I really wanted to talk about that we can have a quick discussion on, since we didn't talk about it last week, is the and I want Vic to kind of take the handles on this because we got two gambling things to talk about today. One of them is going to be Jontay Porter. Now we didn't talk about it last week, but we got to get to it because this whole Jontay, with this whole Jontay Porter. First of all, I didn't know Michael Porter Jr. had a brother, so everybody found out something brand new. I didn't know I didn't know who the hell he was. His name never really rung any bells before, but twice this year, he's been the betting favorite, like the most money made or whatever on DraftKings two times for his unders. Now he's been launched into an investigation, but just that whole situation is crazy. Now, Vic, have you followed along with that at all?
I know about the gambling scandal and everything like that, but I haven't really followed along too much about what's all been going into it.
That's fine. But
I know that he was a 5-star recruit coming up, and he was actually a pretty big deal. So pretty crazy actually to think about.
So could you break? I'll get to the other stuff that's happening since then. But can you kind of break down this whole situation?
So I guess basically, let me see here. Hold on, I was reading about it real quick about what other stuff that could have happened. So basically, they identified that he was going on DraftKings and placing bets, and that he could have been using a third party. Hold on, that's the regular. KK, I'm trying to find out more information, but
my
okay. So DraftKings says there was irregular activity, large amounts of money were wagered, and Porter was once again scoreless. So he was basically betting on himself to hit the under every time.
And he was like the first game, he had like a random eye injury that was re-aggravated, so he left the game after 3 minutes. And then the second game, he had bubble guts, aka he had like a stomach issue, and he left that game. So his unders were gonna hit regardless, basically. And my question to you: how do you look from your perspective? How does everyone kind of know to take the under that day? Like, is there like a Patreon or a Reddit that I don't know about? Like, how did that become the betting favorite that night? Because it was like a whole shebang that many people were able to place the under on that bet.
Yeah, that's got. I mean, that's really got to go through like word of mouth. There's no Reddit or subreddit or anything like that. If there is, I want to know about it because hook a brother up. And if there was one, there would probably be no more sports gambling. So
r/sports betting. You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, but that's not. They don't give you tips. Like, I mean, that's fucking. That's like mafia. This is like mafia shit. You know what I mean?
Like black web, like dark web shit.
Yeah, this is pretty insane. I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. It's so incredibly unique, and also, what a smart job. What a smart way for him. Smart originally until people got kind of got a hold of what was going on. But yeah, I have no idea. And actually, I'm trying to read this article real quick that's telling us how it could affect the future of gambling. But I mean, it's pretty insane to think about a player that would bet on an over or an under on himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's basically hindering his long-term future in the NBA so he can make a few bucks in DraftKings. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, and I mean, the way I see it, it's like we're so fortunate that it was like somebody named Jontay Porter and not like Nikola Jokic or somebody else, because we're gonna get to Ohtani later when we talk about baseball. But like, it's so easy to kind of just let him go, like just ban him from the league forever, and we ain't got to worry about this shit anymore. But A-Rod, like, you're a big baseball guy, obviously. So I know we've been seeing this kind of shit in baseball since the Black Sox and everything like that. So obviously, with the more legalized and acceptance to sports gambling, like, how do you think a story like this can affect just the way it's policed or whatnot?
I mean, I don't know. It's just it's crazy how like stories come out and this guy signed a massive contract over the off season and everybody's like, "Go get your bag. This is awesome, yada yada yada." And then the interpreter gets caught and then everybody immediately is like, "Oh, this guy's a piece of shit, yada yada yada." And I know that I was like reading up on some articles and like the bookie said that the bets were coming or that his client was Ohtani. I don't know, man. Like I'm just in an era of my life where I see all this news and I just don't know what to believe anymore. I'm just the kind of person that says, put it all on the table for me, throw some charges out there, and then I'll believe it. But until then, it's like word of mouth, and I could see crazy shit with interpreters and him stealing from him and things like that. I could honestly see that the guy's very private about everything he does too, so it also doesn't look good in his favor as well. You don't know what's going on, but I mean, betting in sports, like the way that they're pushing gambling right now, every time you turn on the TV, how many times you see a Hard Rock commercial legalizing in Florida every day? So
they got me hooked.
Yeah, exactly. You're a fiend. You do like 20 leg parlays and shit,
hey,
man.
Bruh, I'm getting better, dog. I'm getting better.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on, baby. One day. It's just advertised so much. You think it's like a Coca-Cola commercial every time you see it on TV, man. It's everywhere. So it's got to be regulated, in my opinion. They're gonna have to chill with all the sports betting. We get it. The fiends who know about betting and whatnot, they're betting all the time. I don't know, man. It's gonna get brought into sports, and I'm curious to see how it's gonna evolve, with people betting, because in the past we saw a lot of people lose their jobs or get expelled from the league. Now, what does it mean if they allow it in certain increments or whatever, and these people get a pass then? Were those the martyrs then? I don't know, man. It's just it's easy to me. Don't do it.
Well,
Just
and to me,
don't do it.
yeah.
It's like weed. Like all these people who are serving 20-year sentences for weed, and now it's like legalized everywhere. So it's like what? Now, A-Rod, you already, might as well, because we went into Ohtani, even though I wanted to talk about Mr. Jontay Porter, but Sammy, could you kind of offer your insight on either both the Jontay Porter situation and Ohtani?
If the glove don't fit, you must have quit. That's what I say. But that's for Ohtani, right? But for Jontay Porter, I mean, in my eyes, it looks like a perspective of this is why people don't like sports gambling, is for that exact reason, right? He's betting on himself, and actually he's betting on himself in the wrong way. But he's betting on himself, like, let's say he puts himself in a position to get a wide open three and potentially put his team up, and he's like, oh shit, I can't hit a three. I'm supposed to have 0 points. He can brick that on purpose, right? So those are the situations that I don't like sports betting. But at the same time, I'm all about, like, you should be able to, right? Like, I don't think it should matter. Like, if you want to bet against yourself, you're going to bet against yourself. I mean, all these teams, all these franchises take risks on players no matter what. And they can do whatever they want, right? Like, you could drink alcohol, you can do drugs in the off season, you can beat women apparently too. So there's always an inherent risk when you're getting an athlete. So why not just include this as part of your inherent risk of getting a specific athlete? And maybe if you want an actual solution, maybe run those, because they run background checks when you sign up for these apps anyway, right? If you find out that you have a gambler that's on a sports team, put a limit on it, right? Like just make them like you can only bet like twice a week or some shit like that, or once a week, right? So that you don't screw up your entire season, and find out some way to control it like that. Because I think if you restrict it, I think you're just bringing a lot of red tape that's just going to be so unnecessary, because people at the end of the day are going to find out how to go past that system anyway. So
that's an absolutely wild take, Sammy. I've never heard that.
That one threw me for a loop.
Yeah,
They're gonna
just let them bet. Come on, dude.
Why
Are you
not?
insane?
I don't care.
Yeah,
Vic,
but it affects the integrity of the game.
Thank you. Can you please talk about the integrity of the game?
Yeah. So
I mean,
first of all,
you're acting like they're not probably already doing it anyway, or like the people that are gamblers
Listen,
are not doing it. They
all right,
probably
when
are.
I found
They're
out
just
that
not
the
getting caught.
when I found out that the WWE was scripted, my heart broke into 2 million pieces. Okay, if I found out, like, let me not find out that Santa's not real. Like,
If you think the NBA or the MLB isn't rigged in some way, you're crazy. Look at what's happening in FIFA. Like, the FIFA shit just gets exposed all the fucking time, right? And I'm like, this is the most global sport on the world, and it's in front of our eyes. The NBA is keeping things under wrap, but they barely did because of Donaghy. But I mean, like, come on, dude. Like, we're acting like this isn't semi WWE. So
when you think about it, to me, the fact that they were able to spot these irregularities means that whatever the system is, it's working. You know, it took a month too long, but typically some of these things we used to find out like 10, 15 years later or after the season's over. So though I think it's kind of like, you know, we're seeing this like with NIL. It's like Wild Wild West first, but at some point, all right, now that we've learned where we screwed up, let's fix it from these mistakes.
But I mean, you're along the lines of kind of similar to what I'm saying is, like, you know, you can find out. Like, if there's a guy gambling, you can find out, right? Like, the data we have. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. The data you have, you can find out and be like, yo, cut that shit out or suspend them or whatever. Especially if it's excessive and it's ruining the game. If he's betting his overs and he's trying to hit 40 points, what are we talking about now? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
I mean, like the pros thing, right? Like, I mean, this is completely different than Porter.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and that's another thing. We're talking about a guy that's like not even off the bench, right? I mean, yeah, it'll be a little different if you have like a role player or a significant all-star. It's different. Also, let's not forget, one of the greatest athletes of all time was a chronic gambler. Granted, it wasn't sports gambling, but let's not forget Michael Jordan.
That.
I know exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It might have been a little bit.
He might have been betting his overs when he was going and cooking. You know what I'm saying?
Him and Charles Barkley love to gamble, but that's a fact. Vic, give it to me from the Ohtani perspective now.
Well, Ohtani, I know even less about. I know that like he was caught like gambling, but not caught. His interpreter was caught gambling, right? But I don't know. Was it on his games or was it on other games?
They say it's all other games. That's what they say. You know.
Yeah. See, like that stuff, like I really could care less about. Like the Calvin Ridley stuff, like that's who cares. Like he's a grown man. He's betting on. You know, he didn't even try to hide it. I mean, the guy created a username with his own name. You know what I mean? He was trying to hide it. So that stuff like doesn't bother me. But the Jontay Porter is like a little bit worse. Like a ton worse. That's like Donaghy, and this is Donaghy level scandal for Porter. But back to Ohtani. I mean, I don't think anything's gonna come of it. I don't think MLB wants to investigate. And
if he's saying his friend stole money from him, you got $4 million. If that's what it is, it's like the problem is that there's so many irregularities about the story. Like, I don't know what the hell is real. And to me, the way I see it, Ohtani got caught. And homeboy just taking the charge from him. That's the best way I can put it, because like it's like at what point it's this whole thing is is crazy to me. It is crazy.
You know what? When I heard about this shit, I immediately thought of the me and Volkan situation. I was like, maybe he's just fronting his boy some money to play some bets, and it's not even on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, maybe he does like to gamble on other shit. He's like, oh, I can't open an account because I'm a professional baseball player here. Here's some money, throw some on the horse racing or whatever he was betting on. So
not to snitch on nobody or dry snitch, but I do know people who might live in different states that it's not legal, and they call a homeboy that live in a state that it is legal and get that shit done.
Yeah,
it's the same shit to me. So it's everything has a loophole. Everything's crazy, but we can talk about this with the face is blue. But yeah,
Samurai Brew. That's the code name.
Uh-oh. I gotta write this down somewhere. All right, let's move on. So we were talking about earlier, we didn't expect anything to come up the NFL today, but we do have some breaking news in case you haven't heard yet. Stefon Diggs is now a member of the Houston Texans. A-Rod has been A-Rod has been on top of this situation for it's like he's our beat writer for the Bills. He's been on top of this situation for some time now. All you AFC East people have been kind of just waiting on the downfall of the Bills because they kind of just got in the way. It feels like so they're out the way for the time being. We'll see kind of what they make of their offseason. But A-Rod, this is your story. So take it away.
Yeah, man, I've been monitoring this for a while. When the season ended, I was looking at the books, and I was like, man, this isn't going to work. They can't keep all these guys. They're going to have to cut some of these players.
What's the quote? What's the quote?
What do you mean? What's the quote?
I've been running the numbers and
Oh,
Yeah, I ran the numbers. The shit did not add up, and it did not add up in Buffalo. That's for sure. And you just saw the mass exodus of a lot of key players on that team, and you clipped what I said on like I don't know 6 podcasts ago.
January 27th.
Yeah, and I've been following this to a T. And how many times? And it all started with Stefon Diggs' reactions. It was his reactions after games. He obviously loves the city of Buffalo. He loves Josh Allen. He wants to be there, but he also wants to win. And watching the run of the Bills last year, and I talked about it on that episode, it's like they went to square one again. Just run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. And Stefon Diggs wasn't utilized. And beginning of the year, the guy was eating. I don't know why he fizzled out. I don't know if it was he knew he was leaving and he was like, you know what, I don't even want to be on this team anymore. Because I agree, he's kind of a diva in a way.
But think about it. He was eating, but they were losing. And then when
Yeah.
he stopped eating, they went on his little win streak.
It's wild to me to think that. And I see a lot of Bills fans saying, oh, he's out of gas. He's not the same anymore. I beg to differ. I think the guy's still gonna cook. He's got no issues, and he's gonna be playing with a great team that's just been assembled overnight in the Texans. But the Buffalo Bills, and to the one person who commented and was like, it's not a rebuild, the Kansas City Chiefs did this. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Don't compare the Bills to the Chiefs. Like, they have a good quarterback, a quarterback that wins, unlike Josh Allen. And I just don't see it, man. They're going to have to rebuild everything. So now we're knowing they're going to target a receiver if I'm a betting man. But on that defense, there's a lot of holes to fill too, pause. So there's just a lot of things they got to do. But I've been monitoring this shit closely, man. I told you, I'm sick of Buffalo. I'm sick of hearing how Josh Allen is this second coming of Christ and he's so good and all of this. And yo, man, every good thing has to come to an end eventually. So
Was it ever even good though? I mean, shit, they just kept losing to Kansas City every year. It was like
it just did, man. But I'm sick of the league just babying Josh Allen and giving him every excuse he can. And oh, he's this and he's supposed to be this, but he's not it. He's just not it. I'm sorry. Like, great player. He's a great player, but he's just not a winner. He's not a winner, man. That's just what I see him as. And it's not a vendetta, but stop making him to be the best player because of fantasy purposes. I feel like this is why they make him number one, because he can do
all the time. Fantasy be getting in our heads too much, and we be forgetting the reality of the shit. So yeah, good point. Now to you Patriot fans, I have I was doing a little research and I thought about this, right? You know who might be the real GOAT of the Patriots dynasty? Nick Casario. Yo, he got there in 2001 in the beginning of the dynasty as a personnel assistant. He was a scout in 03. And then from 2004 to 2006, he was a director of pro personnel. And then from 2008 to 2020, director of player personnel. Throughout your whole dynasty, it was it's like the guy that no one really paid attention to. He was right in the center of all that shit. And as he leaves, the Patriots kind of go this way. And now we're watching the Texans go another way, right? And when he got hired, let's kind of recap the last couple of years of the Texans, right? March 2020, they traded away DeAndre Hopkins in a surprise move. Everybody's confused about that. Homeboy Casario shows up in January 2021. They hire David Culley for a year, fire him. Hire Lovie Smith for a year, fire him. They got rid of J.J. Watt because he didn't want to be there no more. Deshaun Watson goes through the massage thing. It was like hell in Houston. Like we talk about dysfunctional, that was the epitome of a dysfunctional franchise. And in a matter of a year and change, they go get D'Amico Ryans. They go get their quarterback of the future. Who's turned out to be one is going to be one of the better quarterbacks of our generation, of this generation probably. They got defense with Will Anderson. They kill it this year with free agency. They make the playoffs. They win a playoff game, and now they go get themselves a bona fide number one receiver to go with a young quarterback on a rookie contract. And just like that, all the shit that they did those last few years, poof, it's like none of that ever happened. And we saw the Detroit Lions out of nowhere go from, shit organization. They got the right coach in place, and everything fell together. Houston Texans, shit organization. They got the right coach in place, and now here we are. So, Vic, God, there's a lot to unpack here with this one because it's a crazy situation. I want to get your perspective on just from every
Smoking
angle
on that
that you.
Buffalo pack. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But first of all, Vic, with Nick Casario, was I on this? I might in your organization like that. So was he as good as what I'm seeing here?
I mean, it's hard to argue with the data.
I don't know if your mic is on, Vic.
Oh, can you hear me? Hello?
Can't hear you. It's just really low.
Hear me now.
I'll let you go, Sammy. Go ahead, work on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say and clown on you a little bit. But I'll be like, what? It's one of the first things you said about the Patriots that isn't kind of trolling. That is actually very accurate. Was Nick Casario was an important part. He was the key balance to Bill Belichick, and you can't deny, like Vic was about to say, the data that some of the players that he was helpful in getting and in that organization. I mean, Bill had a big play in all of it too. But I think since Casario has been gone, it's been a little bit rough, I would say. I think there was a check and balance there, and I think Casario was one of the few people that Bill Belichick actually, as a check for him, would listen to. Anybody else, he'd be like, oh, I don't like you anyway. But
Which
for
is
Nick,
crazy because he's
Yeah.
young. He's like
Yeah.
48 years old. So
Yeah.
if he's been there for 23 years, they've been trusting him with that since he was like that's crazy to me. Like
Yeah.
how he's been able to pull that off. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Vic, you got it, Vic. There you go.
All right. So, no, what Sammy said, I mean, I don't know how much he had to do with the Patriots dynasty. Maybe I'm not behind the scenes, but I'm pretty sure, Bill Belichick was calling the shots no matter what. So maybe we could have been even better if we would have let Casario, make some of these calls. But he can't deny what he's doing now, right? Drafting C.J. Stroud. Granted, that was pretty much a no-brainer. But a lot of the pieces around him, right? So the wide receivers, Nico Collins, a lot of defensive players, hiring the head coach was great. D'Amico Ryans. So I mean, all that was pretty much him. So I don't know what to tell you. And it sucks watching this from far, knowing that the Patriots are thinking about taking JJ McCarthy at 3. It's painful. This is painful.
Is that a reality at this point? Because I just don't understand where this is all coming from.
I saw that they were going to trade him. I saw that it might be JJ McCarthy's agent. But I've seen so many things, and I believe all of them. I think the best case scenario is that the Patriots trade 3 for Justin Jefferson and 3 first round picks. That's what I would take. I wouldn't take anything less for that shit. So, we're down bad here in New England as Patriots fans. I'll tell you that. We're reaching Jets territory.
Stop it. Don't do
You
that.
say something, A-Rod?
Nothing.
All right, cool. All right, and then speaking of Jets territory, you're welcome for Hassan Reddick. I don't even really talk about it, so you got it. Cool, whatever. I mean, and then for me, just really quick with the Texans. A-Rod, you think the Texans are now the second best team in the AFC behind the Chiefs?
when we talked, it was you and I, and you were saying if the Texans can compete with the Chiefs with the addition of Stefon Diggs now, I think so, because I don't think CJ Stroud makes bonehead plays like Josh Allen does. So I think they're a very complete team now. And that's if all the oars are rowing like it was last year, and they pick up the same momentum that they had. Because we didn't count them in the playoffs. I don't think any of us had them in the playoffs. We were excited to see CJ Stroud, but we said it's the Jaguars division. Maybe the Titans squeak by somehow. Indy looks kind of scary. I'm off of that bandwagon finally. But I'm happy the Texans are making noise, and we can forget about the inmates overtaking the guards era and Massage Watson and all of that. So I'm happy to see it. But yeah, they can pose a threat to Kansas City, and they're young too. That's even scarier, is that they're young.
I mean, this could honestly be the start. I mean, when you have a rookie quarterback contract, you can really start some shit. And I mean, for them to be this aggressive and do it just the way they're doing it, it's really impressive.
Cincinnati did this a long time ago and gave us what we wanted, but Cincinnati is a shit organization with shitty food and facilities. So it is
think
what.
About it. They were shitty, and then they got the guy, Joe Burrow, who makes them feel like they have a chance. Houston was shitty. They got the guy, and now they're going for it. You know what I mean? And I think this could be a situation where it's kind of similar to that. And maybe he does. Maybe they have a chance to make a little bit of a move. And then before we get to the other sport with the orange ball, has anybody been keeping up with anything draft related? I know you talked about Vic with McCarthy. Sammy, we haven't heard your perspective because over the last couple of weeks from what you've been seeing in the news with maybe drafts or free agents, whatever it is. Are y'all doing anything?
I want nothing to do with anybody outside of Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. Other than Penix. Penix is the only quarterback that I would take, but I just wouldn't take him at 3. What are our options? I'm not sure. But anybody else at 3, like, no disrespect to your boy JJ, I just haven't seen enough for me to feel confident. I feel like if we bring JJ McCarthy in, it's going to be Mac Jones 2.0. It's going to be the same exact thing. A guy that won in college, a guy that had tremendous running game, great wide receivers, and not saying he was a game manager in college, but kind of steered that way.
We asked him to be a game manager.
Yeah,
so he was a game manager.
So we don't know. Like I said, we don't know what the talent level is with him, and it's not like his pro day did anything for him. Same with Drake May, and we didn't get anything more from the pro day that we didn't already know. So yeah, I mean, all intents and purposes, I think we're gonna get Drake May. I hope not. For God's sake, I really hope not. And if we trade out, then and it's weird. We're in a tough situation. If we trade out, we look like bitches, right? Because it's like, oh, you're too afraid.
Who cares?
Yeah, I know. I know.
It's the Patriot way.
I know. But
the thing is, like with JJ McCarthy, like he's a great pick at like 28 or 20, 25. You know what I mean? Then he's a good pick. But
in the teens, I would say in the teens.
I was gonna say if we got him at the same level that maybe Mac Jones, like 12 to 15,
but
that's fine.
I don't even think Mac Jones was a good pick there. I'll be honest. I think McCarthy has better upside than Mac Jones. He's definitely more mobile.
Like that much?
Oh, dude,
a lot more.
Yeah,
he was
like the number 1 quarterback at a high school.
5-star, dual threat.
Yeah. So I mean, this is not Mac Jones that we're talking about. In terms of skill level, but
take Bo Nix over him.
I still think, oh hell no, you're crazy. I saw Bo Nix play in college. He sucks.
My man's been fasting a long
24. He's 24.
Please forgive him.
But yeah, I'm with Sammy though. I don't want if I'm not getting Jaden Daniels, Marvin Harrison Jr. or Caleb Williams at 3. I just think there's too much risk with May. That's number 3 is that you have to hit a home run there. If not, you're the A-Rod, but you're the Jets picking Sam Darnold. So,
or if you take JJ McCarthy, you got to sit him for 2 years. Like it's going to be Brissett show for the next 2 years.
Brissett? You want Brissett to run the show for a year or 2 years? Absolutely not.
I'm not putting. I don't want to put. I just don't. If we're going to take JJ McCarthy, I don't want to put him in this team right now and have him turn into Mac Jones, where he's all fucked up in the head because he's got receivers that can't catch. You know what I mean? Like, come on, dude. Like, And then he gets blamed because he's in New England, and everybody's like, "Oh, this quarterback fucking sucks, dude. He can't even fucking throw the ball."
I
It's
mean,
like it's
for
not
what
his
it's
fucking
worth,
fault that he's got
for what it's
fucking
worth,
haystacks.
Mac Jones was put in a very hard situation because he followed. I mean, he didn't necessarily directly follow Brady. Obviously, we all knew Cam Newton was just a bridge. This was supposed to be the next part of the next 20 years, and that's a tough act to follow. Like they still haven't figured out Michael Jordan in Chicago. Like it's hard, bro. It's hard to come back and try to just take on those reins. So for what it's worth, he has it. He's gonna put some pressure on Trevor Lawrence, and with C.J. Stroud now down there in the South, Trevor Lawrence, boy, Trevor Lawrence better come with it this year, bro.
I gotta say though, I'm really kind of upset that this is happening and there's all this attention because we were the Texans podcast, man. Like all year, we were that Texans podcast. Shout out to Vic for giving us the insight on that real early. And now there's gonna be a hype train, and I'm like, I kind of want to jump off the bandwagon. Us as a group,
No,
we gotta find a new team. We gotta find a new team.
I can't, bro. You know me with C.J. Stroud. I've been on that ever since Vic made me know that C.J. Stroud was him, and I watched him play again. I was like, yeah, he's him. And for me to do that with an Ohio State quarterback, that's real, bro. That's real. Because Ohio State quarterbacks never pan out in the NFL, and they play at Ohio State, which I despise. So, bro, he is everything that I like to see in a quarterback. His confidence is crazy. His maturity is crazy. And now they're gonna ask him to be dad to Stefon Diggs. At the end of the day, when you're a great receiver, 9 times out of 10, it comes with a little bit of baggage. Whether it's a diva, whether it's this or that or the third, it's always something. So I think Diggs is going to be on his better behavior. He don't got to play in cold ass Buffalo no more. He's playing in the dome, like in Houston where it's popping. Like it's gonna be. I think it's a good situation for him. And quite frankly, to kind of wrap this whole thing up, it's probably a good situation for Buffalo because it was one of those things in which you never want to be the team that just keeps losing in the same round every year. It's like it's cool to make the playoffs every year, and that's great. But when you know for a fact, well, it's not like we're gonna get past Patrick Mahomes. It's like, all right, then what are we doing? So you got to make a splash, and you got to start over or cut back. You got to do whatever you got to do to just not keep bringing back the same thing to the field because it's insanity. Definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That's kind of where they're at. So this might be the beginning.
I have a 2-part question before we move on. I have a 2-part question. Vic, you can chime in as well. A-Rod as well. So there's obviously now going to be a wide receiver situation there, right? Because there's only one ball. There's only so much time. You have Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Stefon Diggs. You got to feed people to make them happy, right? Pause. We don't usually see 3 wide receivers be successful. First question is, who's the odd man out? Second question is, should the New England Patriots make a call to get him?
To answer your question real quick, ladies and gentlemen, the Cincinnati Bengals have been doing it for the last 4 years with T. Higgins, who was drafted to be the number 1.
1,000 yards, but no, come on, not at this level, man. These
T.
guys,
Higgins was drafted, was the 33rd overall pick.
Okay, and who's the 3?
He is a 1 who is meandering as a 2.
No, on that team, he's a 2 on that team.
Okay, and then obviously they brought in Jamar Chase to go play with his boy, and then Boyd was there before all of them, and he was their number 1 before then. In this situation,
Boyd is what, 500-600 yards? I know he can be better than that, but I mean,
the ball, like you said, there's only one football.
Before that, he was 1,000 yards.
Exactly.
Let's be honest here, okay? Tank Dell's still a kid. Nico Collins has been in the league for a little bit. He's just now starting to find his footing. They all know who the big guy in the room is. It's Stefon.
Of course.
So it's like, he's gonna get hit.
Guy out, I think.
And Tank just is coming off an injury. So to me, he's got to come back from injury. That's something that they got to allow to happen. Plus, they got Dalton Schultz and they got Joe Mixon, but it's like they're like Cincinnati Bengals in Houston now. It's like that's basically what happened.
That's what I mean, though. One guy's the odd man out. Like
it's gonna be
especially after you, So
which is, I think he's gonna be okay. Like I think if they're winning games, and he at least feels involved, then I think he'll be fine. Because it's not the first team that's had. Look at the greatest show on turf. They had weapons galore. Look at Indianapolis Colts when they had Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harris. Like at the end of the day, these things do happen. At some point, Jerry Rice. And think about it, Randy Moss, Chris Carter. That was a thing. But at one point, it was Terrell Owens, Jerry Rice, and God, who am I missing? I'm missing somebody. They were all at the same time. You know what I mean?
Just Stokes.
Yeah.
But
So
there's two, right? Like, and there's a
yeah,
third
but
guy. Like,
Tank Dell is not a number one. He had a
he's a
good.
two.
He's a 2.5. Nico Collins is
Yeah,
not
yeah,
a
I'm with
Nico
you
Collins is
there.
not a number one either.
Just
Yeah,
just
Nick-
just pray Kraft picks up the phone and calls them and says, "Hey, let's get this guy over
I want
here."
Ain't
Nico
gonna happen.
Collins. I want Nico.
He'll do
I
Casario
think
solid.
Nico Collins could be a
They'll do
one, but
Casario solid,
I think
right?
Nico Collins is a T. Higgins scenario, right? Like, you have a 1A and a 1B. Granted, Stefon Diggs is a lot better than Nico Collins, but still, I
Yeah.
think, I think on the right team, Nico Collins is a good, solid number one wide receiver. He was last year, actually, now that I think about it.
Basically,
So,
correct.
I
All
think
right.
what Tank Dell gives you is a little bit different than both of those guys. So I actually think Nico Collins might be the odd man out, but that's just me. But continue.
okay.
I mean, there's only one way to find out. All I know is that I'm keeping CJ Stroud in one of my leagues, so that's gonna be the easiest keep in my life. So as a last round kind of situation. So love it. All right, let's move on to basketball. Now, the craziest thing for me, we talk about crazy things that we've seen over the week, is the amount of love that the women's game is finally starting to get. You know me, I've been on this train for a very damn long time, and the fact that it started to, lead off Sports Center, lead off all these debate shows like First Take and the other one on Fox Sports or whatever. It's it's the number one topic on the radio. The women's I was looking at the women's finals four ticket prices. The average price of a ticket sold to the women's semifinals was $2,323, and for the men's it was $1,000. Let's put that in perspective. The women's game is dominating the headlines right now, and all we can thank Miss Caitlin Clark, who is honestly might be better than advertised. Like, she's really that good. And me, I've been watching women's basketball since forever, because I was always just I'm a basketball fiend, and that's just, I don't care. So since Cynthia Cooper all the way down here to Caitlin Clark, and I watched Maya Moore. I actually watched Maya Moore play at USF. That was a very good experience. She is phenomenal. Maya Moore was a fantastic player. And we've seen Candace Parkers, we've seen all this shit, but we've never seen this phenomenon like a Caitlin Clark. So the best way I was able to kind of see this for the sake of like where the women's game is at right now is how Larry Bird and Magic Johnson saved the NBA back in 1979. To me, this is kind of where Caitlin Clark kind of falls in. And then if you had to find the perfect rival for her, Angel Reese seems to have been like the one that's been nominated to become that rival. Now, the difference is that Magic Johnson was a charismatic, happy-go-lucky guy, and Angel Reese is getting talked about for other reasons. But I want to start really quickly with Caitlin Clark, because with her, like, I pulled up her Wikipedia page, and under her career highlights and awards, it's like typically you see that from a professional player, the amount of awards that she has. She has every award known to man. She's broken every record in both men's and women's. Like, it's really crazy. So you know, A Rod, I know you follow a little bit of basketball. I can kind of you got a little thing with you with basketball. So I mean, what do you make of all this whole situation with Caitlin Clark and what she's done for? We talked about this a couple weeks ago, but like, we're seeing it, like, I mean, it's completely outdoing the men's tournament. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think about all that?
I mean, I think it's good, like you said, for women's sports. It's rejuvenating it, and to see it. I think it was record numbers for the LSU and Iowa game. Um, I think this is the rivalry people want of Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. And I know last year everybody was dogging Caitlin Clark, and now everyone's dogging Angel Reese this year.
Who was dogging Caitlin Clark?
They were dogging her last year on her sportsmanship of exiting against LSU when they knocked them out. I remember that last year.
They dogged Angel Reese last year.
No, they dogged her too towards the end too, because she's loud, and I got no problem with her. I don't think she's by any means doing anything wrong. I think that's just the nature of her character, and I like her game. I think she has all the right to speak when she wants to speak. But I know they were giving Caitlin Clark shit too at the end, but they're competitors. Just let competitors be. If they're they're kids at the end of the day. I mean, we were talking about this in the chat, man. They're kids. Like, I know they're tax-paying citizens, but they still live with mom and dad, kind of still. I know they're getting paid too, Sam. I know you're going to bring that shit up, so I'll take that out the arsenal for you right now. But I mean, they're still young, man. When they're on their own and like, 20, 23, 25, something like that, then that's when I can start giving you a little more credibility, you know, for saying something stupid and off the wall. But I think what they're doing for the game of basketball, and not just those two. I mean, the girl from UConn, Juju Watkins, all of them, they're becoming household names. I've seen them all over TV the last couple of days and in commercials and whatnot. So I'm happy to see women's basketball getting the recognition it deserves, and it's competitive as hell, man. Like, it's competitive as hell, but it's also kind of like we knew these teams are going to be here too. That's the only thing that kind of sucks, is like we expected these teams to be here. So,
And at the end of the day, it's basketball. Like, it's a part of the game. Like, you got to be able to talk your talk and walk your walk. That's just the way the game is. So, Sammy and Vic, I know we sparked a little bit of a conversation. What was it, yesterday or 2 days ago, whenever it was, and it was nice and passionate. Pause. But Sammy, I want you to have the floor and just speak your mind, brother.
I mean, I made it clear, and I want to preface it by saying, like, what do I think what the people are saying to Angel Reese, as she was conversing about her press conference is right? Oh, absolutely not. But to play the victim, I don't play that. I never have played that, especially when you anointed yourself as the nemesis, right? Last year, with your talk, with how you held yourself on national TV, everybody watching this game, and you were talking all that shit to Caitlin Clark as she was getting cooked. You anointed yourself the nemesis, and you owned it, right? And you owned it. So now this year coming around, and all credit to Angel Reese, absolute baller, right? Credit to Caitlin Clark, absolute baller. Now, if you're gonna come out and say all these things and feel a certain way about the internet, turn the fucking phone off. Turn the fucking phone off, because that's what comes with, like you were saying, it comes with sports. Granted, do I think what the people are saying is right? Absolutely not. You shouldn't be hearing that shit. That shit shouldn't happen. People get that, but as a professional athlete or about to be a professional athlete, you're going to get death threats all the time. You're going to get all this stuff on Twitter, all this stuff on Instagram, and you're going to get racist comments all the time. It happens in all sports. It happens in the NBA. It happens to men too. You know what I mean? Look at, like, they go into Boston. They say, oh yeah, they always say all this racist shit to us, blah, blah, blah. It happens in Utah too when they show up at Utah games. I'm not saying it's a good thing, right? Like that, but it's just everywhere, right? Like, hey, like, you can, like, for me, I just be the best person that I can be. And it's unfortunate that we have so many people that still feel a certain way like that and still talk that way. But the internet is so fake. So if you're going to let that force you to be a victim at a press conference, instead of just kind of manning up and saying, yeah, we lost, like, and stick up for yourself, like, I don't know. I re-listened to it, and I appreciate the things that she was saying. She was trying to be more enlightening, but it had just such a victim mentality to it that it rubbed me the wrong way, right? I mean, you're going to be a professional athlete. This stuff's going to come. Turn your fucking phone off. Block everybody. Don't let people comment on your shit. That's what Diddy did.
Now,
Diddler.
when we're talking, it's crazy. It's wild that we just had to incorporate Diddy and the kind of shit that she's been getting in her inbox. So that's crazy. But I mean, I get it, right? It's just I have younger sisters, right? When they were 21 years old, like, I'm gonna tell my 21-year-old sister to turn off her phone. Like, she's not going to turn off her phone. And obviously, all that shit, whether positive or negative, is gonna bring them one way or the other. When they say positive things about them, it's gonna boost their egos up way too high. And when you say something negative, think about it. People can say positive things about you all day long, right? But you go through your comments, you see that one negative comment, and it fucks up the whole system, because we're not built to take that kind of criticism that early, that at that level, until you're built for it, right? It's one of those things in which, like, it's you got to figure it out. And I think we were asking her to just grow up quickly. Like, she got to figure it out, and I think she will. I just think, they asked her a question right after a loss. It was like when Allen Iverson, they asked him about practice and shit when he right after a loss. He didn't give. It wasn't about the practice. It was just he was emotional at that time, and everything kind of pours out when you're emotional. You've ever been in an argument with somebody and you start saying off the wall shit that you don't even, why did I say this shit? It's just because you're heightened emotion. And I think she was just, bruh, she just lost to Caitlin Clark. That's her. It's like bird and magic. Like that's the person you don't want to lose to because it's that important to you. Your emotions are high and everything kind of just comes out at that moment. So to me, I just felt like she's allowed to just be vulnerable. You know what I mean? Like go be vulnerable. I don't think she was asking for the victim card. I think it was just so easy to place it on her, like, oh, look at her trying to be a victim. Because it's easy to just assume that. I don't know if that was her intention. Maybe it came out that way. I don't know. But to me, if you look at the bigger picture, like you said, what they're saying and what she has to go through, that shit does suck, right? But on the flip side, I think it's just one of those growing pain, learning things that you got to deal with. Because like I know me, I used to let some random shit bother me all the time. I used to let the most minute shit bother me, and then I got to a point where why do I let this dumb shit even bother me? And you get over it. But I'm in my 30s. She's 21 years old. Like she'll figure it out. It's just she got a little bit of money in her pocket doesn't mean she's more mature than anybody. So
No, my only I guess my like last point that I was trying to make about it was like if you're gonna come out and talk that shit, you gotta expect shit to get talked back to you. It doesn't matter where it's coming from.
shit, I talk my shit, and I hate when people talk shit back to me.
I
keep it a buck. I keep it a buck. Vic, what you got? Go ahead and enlighten us, please.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you guys are talking about these young ladies bringing the women's game back. I think they're bringing it like forward. It was never there to begin with. So we're in uncharted territory here. We've never had this kind of buzz around women's sport. I don't want to say ever. Let's be honest. When was the last time?
Are you sure? Because like Serena,
other than the Olympics,
Serena and Venus really brought a lot to women's tennis.
Okay, that's fair. Women's tennis, I guess, is probably the closest comparison. But the women's tennis, Serena wasn't bringing in NBA Eastern Conference Finals numbers. You know what I mean?
Sure?
So and that's what this game did. I think it brought in more numbers than one of the Eastern Conference Finals. I think it was Game 6 or something. I don't know. But it was bigger than an NBA game, so which is incredible just to think about.
More people in Boston watched that game than they did the Celtics Pelicans.
Jeez.
Yeah. Oh, that's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
But that also makes sense though, because I mean that game was trash.
I know, but still.
But yeah, so yeah, I mean, good for these young ladies. You know, couldn't be more happy for them. Caitlin Clark is a dog. She couldn't hang in the NBA though, so stop giving me that bullshit.
Who said that?
And I saw Angel Reese was declaring for the WNBA draft, so maybe we'll be seeing those two match up again in the pros, which maybe they could be a Magic Bird type rivalry in the WNBA and keep us going. I hope she becomes more of a villain, to be honest with you. I hope she like starts working that shit more, you know. So yeah,
real quick, Kay, I wanted to end it, or at least end my part on a positive note. Yeah. I'm really enjoying what they're bringing to the table, like as far as basketball, because I mean, besides DJ Burns and the number 11, which we'll get to, NC State, right, Wolfpack, like there's really nothing that's fun to watch about this March Madness, right? I mean, there's no players that is exciting to anyone. I mean, most of the guys that are going the top 5 are probably at Kentucky, and they lost in the first round.
Or in France. The rest of them are in France.
So, I mean, yeah, you have a situation where you have these next level talent. I mean, that's with every sport, right? When you have just elite talent that's breaking records and then a nemesis that's trying to stop them and has stopped them in the past, and then they clash again, you're just bringing so much attention to the sport, and it's unlike what we have in the men's game right now. So it's absolutely incredible, and I love to see it.
Basketball is one of those sports. It's so rare. Like basketball, some individual sports like golf, tennis, hockey to an extent, where the player is the one that's marketed, not the brand, right? Like the Cowboys, whoever the fuck the quarterback is, they're still the Dallas Cowboys, right? Whoever, it doesn't matter, right? Whereas in the basketball, no one gives a shit about a certain team until that team gets a certain player like who the hell was checking for Golden State prior to Steph Curry, right? It was the We Believe era, because the players created that buzz. If we look at it now, this is
Aaron
the
Davis
first
was
time
a
that
dog.
this is the first time that the women's game in college has all these stars that they can market, whereas the college basketball for the men is all the team now. It's like, why is UConn good? Can you name a play? I can't name anybody on UConn. Like they are the most dominant team over the last couple of years. I mean, they've won 10 straight games by double digits, and still can't name you anybody on their team. Like that's a problem. Whereas like like you said, remember, like 11 Burns. I only know him because he don't look the part. He just looks like this big old kid that's giving everybody buckets, right? Gonzaga. I'm not Gonzaga. Purdue. I can name Edie because he's 7'4", and then Alabama. I can't name a soul on that basketball team. So you go look at this tournament. I literally spent my Monday night watching 4 quarters of Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark and Flajay Johnson, and then another 4 quarters of Juju Watkins versus Paige Buckers, because I wanted to see Juju Watkins versus Paige Buckers, not USC versus UConn. I can give a shit about USC and UConn, but I wanted to make sure I saw Paige Buckers and Juju. And that's what it is. It's like the NBA knew that in the 80s, like, yo, they really rocking with this dude Larry Bird out here in the East with Boston, and they really rocking with this dude Magic in LA. Let's make this a thing. And they made sure that they built around that shit. And like you said, Vic, it might be beneficial to Angel Reese to want to, like, think about the WWE. We're talking about the WWE earlier. What sells in the WWE is the heel versus the baby face, right? It's the villain versus the hero. That's what sells in sports, is that it's the storybook of the villain and the hero. It's always going to be like that. It's Steph versus LeBron. It's Michael Jordan versus the world. It's Larry versus this. It's Kareem versus Bill Russell. I mean Will Chamberlain. It's just always going to be something like that. So to me, this is such a good transition for women's basketball. Now we'll see where they kind of take it from here. But we were talking about the men's tournament, and I do want to kind of just get away from college basketball real quick. But I don't really have much to think about with the men's tournament. My only question that I had, that Mr. 7'4" Edie kid from Purdue. Now he don't really fit that.
He's a bully, bro.
Yeah, he don't really fit that what we're used to seeing lately with the big men in the NBA. So A-Rod, you've obviously, I know you've been paying attention a little bit. What do you see from him translating to the next level? Because as of right now, he's not necessarily slated to be a lottery pick. I think I'm seeing 20s, but I think I'm hearing if he wins this whole shit, his draft stock is going to just continue to rise and rise. So do you think there's something there with him where you can really kind of just build around in the NBA the way the game is played right now?
I don't know, man. Like I was going back and forth with this with my dad on on Easter, explaining to him that the big man that you're used to isn't what it is anymore in the NBA. They want him to shoot the three, and he didn't want to believe me. He's like, no, that's not how it is. I'm like, yeah, like all these bigs now shoot the three, and he was going down the list. He was like, that French kid shoots the three. I was like, very well, he shoots the three very well. For a big Sammy. Shaq would never do that shit, or Patrick Ewing would never do that. So I'm more used to the big guy down low, clogging the paint. And it takes one team to do it and it be successful. Like, look, we allude to how Michael Jordan ruined the NBA, and I'm gonna go on a limb and say Steph Curry also ruined the NBA too. He ruined the NBA because everything is a 3-point shooting game. So I think you have to everything is on reset. Something's going to reset, and if you take a gamble on this kid, I feel like he's a more athletic George Marathon. That's the best way I can explain him. He looks like a sloth out there, but
George Marathon cannot ball like this. This kid can ball. I'll give him his credit.
I'll give him his credit too. Yeah, but he's playing with children at the same time. But also everyone in the NBA act like children too. So you never know. But I've seen mock drafts where he's going last to the Celtics. I've seen mock drafts where he's going in the second round. I think this is the type of player that if you take the gamble on and take him and you need a big, I think it's going to pay off for you in the end. And you play old school basketball and change it up a little bit, and you surround him with shooters all around. I think it's going to be great for outlets and pick and rolls and stuff. I think he'll be okay, but I just think a lot of people are scared because they're used to the prototypical big that's built like Wembanyama now. So that's what it is. They're not looking for they want jokers, but not jokers body type.
Yeah, and there's also so this is probably the worst draft since what was it 2013 Anthony Bennett draft.
Yeah.
And but the thing about that draft is there was also even in the Anthony Bennett draft, Giannis was in that draft.
Yeah.
So every draft is going to have an all-star, at least one. Every draft has had at least one all-star. So the difficult thing is going to be finding it here, and it's Zach is definitely not Rudy Gobert. He is slow, first of all.
Does he have a comp?
What's that? I would say Ibaka Zubac on as of right now.
Okay.
With better touch around
That's
the
what I
rim.
was thinking.
He's got great he's great around the rim. He's got great interior offense. His interior defense is good too. And he shoots pretty well he shoots his free throws pretty well as well. Where his issue is that he is limited when it comes to perimeter defense. So he's not going to be able to hang with the many switch heavy teams in the NBA that just love putting you in a pick and roll to switch the big man onto the guard. So that's going to be his biggest issue. Teams are going to target him on that. He needs to get more in shape, I think. And he's definitely not a Jokic type, but if he develops like some kind of shooting, he could be pretty good. He could be an all-star, I think. Just by his size and his touch, you'd think that he would project pretty well.
You can't teach 7 foot, 4, whatever he is, right?
Yeah, he's a big dude. And there's a lot of big dudes in this draft, but they just all are kind of limited in what they do. So the big thing in the NBA right now isn't just shooting threes; it's also pace, right?
Yeah.
And he's not the type of center that's going to run up and down the floor, on fast breaks and things like that. Well, he can try, but he's not going to catch up with anybody. So that's where his limitations are.
We talked about Gobert. It's not like Gobert is out there defending the paint either. I mean, the perimeter either. That's why sometimes in fourth quarter he's kind of like unplayable depending on what type of team you're playing.
Yeah, exactly.
We know you hate him, man. We know you hate him. Let him be.
Bro,
Gobert.
You saw what what's his name in Houston? Jalen Green. Jalen Green was trying to take that man's life. He still made that shot. He still made the little finish, but
Sammy, he did a jaw on him, man. He did the John Morant.
Exactly. Sammy, I don't know if you want to talk about Mr. Zach, but is there anything else in college basketball that you feel like that's worth talking about?
I mean, I just think it's interesting the way the college game is changing and not really shaping up to what the NBA game is, because you're looking at these at least 3 of these 4 teams all have just a bruising big man surrounded by guys that can play make and some that can shoot. It's pretty wild. I mean, all these games that I'm watching is this big dude just dominating everybody, right? Yeah. And not getting not getting any fouls called against him, but getting all the calls called for him. I think Vic mentioned it perfectly about Zach Edey. I mean, he has some potential because he does have the free throw percentage working for him, and usually that does translate to potentially having some sort of mid-range. So like Vic said, if he can develop some sort of mid-range jumper, maybe a 3, he could be useful in certain situations, but he is so limited by his pace. But yeah, overall, I don't know who from this, at least college, who's going to be even worthwhile taking a look on in the NBA or who's going to be good. But I think Vic's right. There's going to be at least one, and he may be already out of the tournament right now. The guy that I'm looking at is Dillingham. He reminds me of Tyrese Maxey a lot.
I hear that one a lot.
So that's the one that I'm looking at. I don't know if he's actually eligible this year, but that's one of the guys that I'm looking at. And personally, I think maybe something has to change with this rule, because some of these kids are, rather than go to college, are trying to go pro or overseas before they come to the NBA instead. So maybe we're just not seeing the same talent level. I don't know.
And you made a very good point. Like the game is so different. Like you watch an NBA game and then switch back and forth between that and a college game. You're literally watching two sports.
Yeah.
Literally, I was watching. So I have problems sleeping sometimes, and sometimes I put on an old school basketball game at 1 a.m. just because I feel like it, and just to watch. Right. Last night happened to be the Orlando Magic versus Cleveland Cavaliers during LeBron's rookie season. Now LeBron's still in the league, so this is 21 years ago. The game was complete. I was watching a different sport. Like they were still running the offense from inside out, whereas now it's not even remotely close to that. But like Boozer kept getting looks, Drew Gooden kept getting looks, Andrew DeClerc kept getting. I'm like, damn, they really be feeding the big man like all the time, and they work through that. Where it's like you see that in college as well now, where it's like the teams that are successful in college, for the most part, they're just all seniors and juniors. We talk about this shit all the time. Yeah. It's a bunch of a 24-year-old man playing against an 18-year-old kid. I don't care if that's like that kid from Oakland. I don't care if you are NBA talent or not. 24 and 18 are two completely different levels of thinking from a basketball perspective. Like
he's also got more reps. He's got more reps under him.
Way more reps. He's seen more coverages. He's seen a lot of shit. You've been doing your little AAU circuit for the last 7 years. You play 1 year of organized college basketball, and you expect to beat me, who's been playing. I got a COVID year. I got this year. I got that year. I've been doing this shit since you was in diapers. So it's a completely different game. I just wish there was a player in the men's tournament that we could kind of I want to see what I like. Yeah. I could care. I really don't care what Edie does in the next round. I'm sorry. I don't care what this. I mean, I like this kid Burns. He seems like a really nice kid. But come on, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, come on. He gonna make it to the NBA and then do what? Like, it's like go play
big baby.
Go Davis. Play offense. Big baby couldn't even survive in today's NBA. I don't know if he. I don't know.
No, good.
Okay. No, good. All right. NBA. I'm giving you guys free reign, kind of just talk about what you want to talk about. I just want to kick things off. Joel Embiid is back. Now, I didn't want him to come back this year. Really didn't, but he's here, right? Cornroll Joel Embiid. I'm just gotta put my stock in him, right? My only hope right now is that we get the 7th seed, because what I really want to talk about is what the hell did Doc Rivers do to the Milwaukee Bucks? I know you guys love to see this shit. I know it's beautiful for you, Mr. Vic and Mr. Sammy. I wonder how you feel about this, A-Rock, because I know you're a fan of those guys, but what the hell did Doc Rivers do to the Milwaukee? Vic, I want to ask you this, because Sammy's a bigger hater. Let me who's the biggest hater between Sammy and Vic?
They're both on this. They both.
One got Sammy.
I would say Sammy because he
Sammy's a hater.
No, I think Vic's more of a hater than I am. But
I'm 100% more of a hater, and I'm not a hater. I just know what I'm talking about.
No, Vic is more ride or die. So yeah, go ahead, Vic. Go ahead, ride or die. Go ahead and ride or die, and explain to me what the hell did Doc Rivers do to this basketball team?
All right, what do you mean what he did to the basketball team? He did what Doc Rivers does, man. This is what he does. He's still a talented coach. He just can't. I think he still does get the best out of his players, right? So if you're looking at the Milwaukee Bucks, they're out 5-5 in their last 10. The main thing I want to look at is Damian Lillard's post All-Star break stats, which I'm pulling up right now. And if we want to blame anybody, we want to blame the GM here, okay, for making the trade for Damian Lillard. All right. I don't understand why you trade for a 33-year-old point guard who relied on his quickness to get open on jump shots, who's only 6'2", and struggles against heights in the NBA. So let me hold on. I'm getting it here for you real quick. His stats here. So if we want to move on to somebody else while I pull up, move on to Sammy.
Sam, you know what you said earlier about when I was talking about the Patriots? Like, it was like the first time I said something I wasn't trolling. I was just saying real fact. This is a real fact. And I love Dame. Unlike you two, y'all got a problem with him. I love Dame. But for what these Milwaukee Bucks needed to do to get rid of Drew Holiday, like, look at what the impact that Drew Holiday has had on the Boston Celtics. Whatever me and A-Rod been saying for years what the Celtics need. They just need a point guard. And Vic, I gotta say something.
Derek White is cooking.
Vic, no, wait, Sammy. Vic, I gotta say something. I understand the impact of Derek White. I've I've
100%.
I've I've taken off my haterade glasses, and I'm like, you know what? Because like I don't.
Well, come on, man, get on over here.
Let me
Go,
speak.
come on.
I don't sit here and watch Boston Celtics games all the time. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
the after All-Star break every year is when I'm really like locked into every game. Like I try to watch every game because I really want to know who's what. And the more and more I watch Derek White, I'm like, yo, maybe I was a little mean when I was saying he can't be an All-Star, but
Don't do it.
he is a very very important piece for that Boston Celtics because he's a high level basketball player. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you your roses. I'm a hater. A-Rod, I gotta tell you, A-Rod, Derek White is better.
I think he's a good cog for the Celtics. He's just not an all-star to me. I'm 100%.
All-Star Derek White.
Look. Not everyone could be an all-star, okay?
Yeah.
He doesn't have that all-star type of like personality.
I'm
That's
not
the
saying
thing.
he's a first vote
Yeah.
in.
Yeah,
We're not even saying
but-
he's a reserve. He's coming in for
Yeah.
somebody injured because he's on the best team and he's having a very impactful season.
like the
He
year
plays-
that Atlanta have four
He
players.
plays in the skills challenge. That's what he does.
A-Rod, remember when the Pistons was just sending all these people to the All-Star game because they were the best team in the East? It's like the same thing with the Pistons. It's like how important
The
Tayshaun
East
Prince was to
trash
the
too,
Pistons.
man. The East
How
was trash.
important was Kyle Korver and Jeff Teague to the Hawks? To me, Derek White is just that important. Like he really is a very key piece. To me, you go Tatum, and then you probably go. I'll probably go Derek White before I go Kristaps, or no, I'll probably go Drew Holiday.
Yes.
All right, Sammy.
Derek White.
Sammy, you weren't here last week. We were talking about Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown getting paid $300 million. Man, he's a good basketball player, but I'm sorry. Like I still don't get it. Like he's a good basketball player, but like to me, he's expendable. Am I wrong to think that?
Absolutely.
He's
like-
not expendable.
I
You
don't
can't
think so.
find another Jaylen Brown for cheap.
Nope.
You can't. Hey, Rod, can I find another Jaylen Brown for cheap?
Nope. Did you not watch what he did against Zion? Like,
I said
What-
he's a good
what-
basketball player.
what guy at that size could do that?
He's a
And
good
also
basketball
provide
player.
you offense on the opposite side.
You think look? Let me tell y'all. Sammy wanted us to do Who Do You Love with Tobias Harris, and you think
I would take Tobias Harris over Jaylen Brown. I would.
That's crazy.
I would. I would. I would. I would.
That was gonna be my. You'll take Tobias over Jaylen Brown?
I mean, I think they're equal, in my opinion.
All right,
You would-
Vic.
Are you what?
Not
got
by
the
age.
equal
No, in a vacuum, I think they're
In a
equal.
I got you.
Not age. Like age, yeah, I'm taking Jaylen Brown, but
I don't. Are you talking about skill set? All that? There's no way,
like
Sammy.
just the all around package. Oh, 100%, dude. How many times do you fucking shit your pants when fucking Jaylen Brown goes left?
Oh,
It's every time
that's,
for
I
me.
mean, that's one thing, but Jaylen
Like,
Brown can also
factor
bring his.
If you put Tobias Harris with the same usage with this Celtics team, I guarantee you get the same output.
I mean,
I-
JB's biggest
And that
problem
just
isn't
answered
his.
your question. And that just answered your question,
That
Kente.
is, exactly. For $300 million, I can find me another Jaylen Brown for cheap.
No, I don't. But you didn't even name another one. Like that's one that I would, just because Tobias Harris can also shoot at a good clip.
Okay. I'm gonna start thinking about it. Go ahead, Vic.
I'm not taking OG. Like I think he's too much of a risk on offense. Who else would be in that kind of like ilk? Like I don't see it.
Siakam.
It's Siakam.
I would not take Siakam. No.
You
I
would
think
Siakam?
Jaylen Brown can cover way more because not only can he guard Zion, but then he can go and guard Dame. I mean Dame's slower, but I'm just saying
Brandon
he can
Ingram.
guard way more. Brandon Ingram, no.
I wouldn't take Brandon.
Scotty
Ingram.
Barnes.
No.
Scotty, no, not yet.
No.
I'll think about this one. Paulo Banchero, yeah.
Oh
No,
yeah.
that's-
Yeah.
I mean,
What about Franz Wagner?
no.
I like Franz's
This is
game.
y'all are crazy, man. This is insane.
I like Franz. Hey, A-Rob, you gotta be scared of the Magic, dog. Like, I'll be a little
You
concerned
haven't
about.
even asked me how I'm feeling, man. I'm over this team, man. This is the kind of shit that I'm enduring.
We gonna get to you. Vic, you got your shit pulled up.
Yeah. So what I mainly wanted to talk about here was Giannis's stats with Dame on and with Dame off. I guess the two-man lineup of Dame and Giannis, I don't see the fit there between the two. Dame is a guy that is not a spot-up shooter, which is who Giannis needs. Giannis needs the ball in his hands because he needs the ball at the top of the key so he can run down like a running back into the hoop. That's his fucking game, right?
Literally.
So even though like you see, I mean, right now the Giannis and Dame are averaging 70.8 points, so they've actually disproved my point. But I just think it's because they played so many more minutes together. I mean, number 2 is Dame and Brook Lopez as far as two-man lineups. I couldn't find the on-off stats, but I think some of the best lineups in the Bucks rotation in terms of points. Let's see here. The top one here is Brook Lopez, Patrick Beverley, Chris Middleton, Giannis, and Malik Beasley. So Dame not in there, and then fourth one down is Gallinari, Beverly, Middleton, Portis, and Connaughton.
When Giannis is out the lineup, Dame balls the fuck out. Like I think that's just what it is. The two of them, I think talent-wise, we just expect every talented player to fit with each other, right?
Yeah.
They try to throw Russell Westbrook with LeBron James. Yeah. Every person in America knew that wasn't going to work. Two people who are very ball dominant and play exactly the same way, just one a little bit more efficient. You can't do that. And really quick before I finish off my statement, I'll take Vic. You taking Desmond Bane?
Desmond Bane over who?
Oh, over your boy, Jaylen Brown.
Oh, get the fuck out of here, dude. I mean, come on.
You ain't gonna take those stocky ass shoulders, bro. That dude can defend.
No, absolutely not. You guys hate on Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown could be the number one on a team. Maybe not number one on a winning team.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Jaylen Brown could be number one on the team, and you'll see where that team goes.
Their stats are literally identical. Like their stats are literally identical.
Yeah, but Jaylen Brown plays with Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis, and Derek White.
And he's getting better quality shots.
No, he's getting less of them.
He's getting the third best defender.
I'm just saying. You guys are hating on Jaylen Brown a little bit too much. The worst thing about Jaylen Brown's game is his fucking free throw shooting.
I was not hating on Jaylen Brown. I was not hating on Jaylen Brown. I was actually, before he asked me that question, I was about to give more credit to Jaylen Brown than Jason Tatum because I think he's got more fucking dog in him than Jason Tatum does. And that's been our fucking problem.
I hate this fucking argument.
Dude, it's over and over again. And I think it's also a team thing. We do this thing at the end of games where we just forget how to pass. And we're like, go ahead, Tatum.
Talk about it. No, because for real, like, again, I've been watching a lot more basketball lately with just in general. And as the talent, we all know Tatum, but he is missing something. And that's a good point. Because to me, it's
Mikal Bridges or Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown.
Oh, it's still Brown. But I mean, if you're telling me I get Mikal Bridges and then another piece, like if I get Mikal Bridges and I don't know, like a Domantas Sabonis, like something like that.
Well, that's come on now, Domantas Sabonis. Come on, come on.
But I'm saying who's the piece that comes with him? That he's cheaper.
I'll take the Domantas Sabonis over Kristaps.
That's what are we talking about, guys?
Oh my God!
I'm crazy. Oh my God! I'm moving on. A-Rod.
What are we talking about here?
A-Rod, go ahead and talk, man. A-Rod, the Knicks have been on a little bit of a struggle lately. Your boy dropped 61 the other night. So, like you said, if he need to go get it, he gonna get it. But they lost. So what's going? Is it just that time of year where Thibodeau has exhausted the whole lineup and ain't shit left? Because I read something. They said they'd be surprised if Julius Randle and who else? Mitchell Robinson come back.
Mitchell Robinson's back. It's OG.
Oh, OG. Oh, is OG? He not coming back?
OG and Julius Randle are question marks. I'm going to be the old man on the couch talking to my grandkids saying how the 2024 Knicks could have been if these two players were there, man. I'm flooded on, I'm on Twitter all the time, and The Knicks hopeful they're amazing. I love them. They bring me back to the Knicks and get me really hyped for them. But I just know the way this team is and the way Thibodeau is. He's running their knees into the ground. They're tired. They're not using anybody on the bench. There's like two guys, and Bogdanovich and Alec Burks. Like we thought they were great signings. Bogdanovich went from averaging 20 a game to like less than 10 now with the Knicks. And Alec Burks, I've seen
Well, his
him.
role changed. Like he
I
went
know
from
his
Detroit
role
bum-ass team to.
I understand, bro. I understand that, but
Yeah.
there's no reason that guy shouldn't be your number one guy off the bench to up tempo shit. And he's not even getting like 15 minutes a game. It's wild. It's hard for me because it's all looks good on paper, but we just need two pieces. We need OG back and we need Julius Randle, and I'd love to see what would happen. But this stiff style of basketball it's oh god, since I think it's almost since I've known Sammy. Like Sammy's been the guy who's like, hey, I remember I think it was like 2021 or 2019 basketball season. He was like, hey, who has the most efficiency in the NBA? RJ Barrett and Julius Randle. And I like spit water all over my desk that day. I couldn't believe it. But they what I was saying about the Knicks faithful is like I saw a post where someone's like, this is the rest of the games we have to play. Who's saying we're not like winning 90% of these games? And then they lose to the Spurs. And then they lose to the Heat. And then Shea Gilgeous-Alexander shows why he should be MVP and nights us in the Garden. Like
He's your MVP.
He's my MVP, man. He really has to be the MVP. I want to see a guard get it. I want to see the passing of the torch to a guard because
I want to see Luka Doncic get that shit. That's the best.
I want to see it too. I want to see it too, but he doesn't deserve it this year now, man.
Why not?
Bro, look at the Thunder. Look at the Thunder as a play-in team last year to number 2 or 3.
They got their rosters. Sam Presti deserves that award.
I don't care. I don't care. I'm not talking about the Thunder. All I'm saying is that this Knicks team does what it does every year to me at this time, and is go right up my asshole, pause, pull my heart out, and just end my season for me, man. We went from bragging about being the 3rd seed at one point to being in the 5th spot, tied with the Orlando fucking Magic.
Orlando Magic.
I have respect for them.
Orlando Magic.
I have. Man, I don't care, man. I really don't. Like, I'm happy for Brunson. He's balling. I'm glad Mitchell Robinson's back. I love the momentum these guys have, but I'll be honest with you, 2nd round probably, unless I can see OG and Julius Randle play. I'm sick of hearing Knicks are going to win it. They're not going to win it, guys. They're just not. They're not.
Sammy, who could coach the Knicks? Do you think is there a coach you could think of that would be perfect?
Keep Doc Rivers the fuck away from my team, all right? I'm giving a fuck if he used to play for them. They better not call that motherfucker. Hey guys, we're gonna need you to, shoot some more threes.
I was gonna say Quinn Snyder, but I don't really like what he's doing in Atlanta.
I don't like that guy. There's something about him, like with someone you're like.
It's the hair.
Fuck.
It's the hair.
He looks like a trickster. That's what he looks like, a trickster. I don't know what it is about him.
He'd sell you a car and say it's brand new, but it has a rebuilt title.
He's a shiesty. He's a little shiesty bitch.
The coach,
I don't know who it is. I don't know. Allen Houston. Bring Allen Houston to coach the team, man. I'd be okay.
Come on. Let's no. Maybe Spike Lee. You'll bring Spike Lee.
Fuck no. Get him out of the Garden. Kick him out.
Amir Abdul-Rahim.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Speaking of Amir, we trying to get Bronny or not, bro? I don't think we need Bronny. We don't need that. We don't need Bronny. But by the way, y'all, Bronny's entered the transfer portal. All right, cool. All right,
that's crazy.
Let's wrap it up with the MLB. A-Rod's been waiting for this for 17 years. I actually like this because we're able to, before we just jump into like, all right, this is what we think is gonna happen. We got a nice little sample size. Everyone's gone through the rotation by now. I'm assuming like 4 or 5 games. Everyone pretty much played 5. I know the weather's been pretty shitty lately, but we got a pretty good sample size of what we're going to be seeing for the next month or 2 before injuries and everything like that. So, A-Rod, you are the Mr. Baseball of this podcast. So take it away, man. Like what's been like your biggest impressions over the first first week of the season outside of the Yankees. We'll get to the Yankees later, just in general.
I'm proud of them. That's all I will say. But I mean, every team looks like. I mean, the Boston Red Sox are definitely 5-2. That's. I mean, it's beginning of the season. You know, it is what it is. I don't think they can hang there. I've been reading a lot of beat writers saying that the Red Sox won't finish last in the East, and I'm wondering if they're pinning that on the Rays and the lack of pitching that they have, because we've seen them get shellacked these last couple of days. But
yeah,
that's a team that I feel like a nuclear holocaust will happen, and the Rays will still find a way to survive with whatever pitching they can put together. I mean, I'm looking at the standings right now. The A's are where they're supposed to be. The White Sox are where they're supposed to be. I mean, the Tigers are 4-0. That's wild to me, because I feel like the last 2 or 3 years we've supposed to see all these prospects that they brought up pan out, and we've just seen one of them. But it looks like it's starting to pan out. Both Central divisions are very vanilla yogurt to me every year. I feel like the National League Central is going to be interesting this year. Pirates are up top on that one. I look for a lot for the Cardinals this year with the rotation help that they got. I think they got a lot of serviceable veterans to come help out. The Mets, you know, if there's
still the highest payroll.
Yeah, the funny thing about the Mets is the owner.
Man.
The owner, you know, came out and was like, you know, we don't need to have a huge payroll to be successful. Yet he went out his first year and tried to make a home run splash with all these signings of Verlander and Scherzer and all this shit, and it's not working. And obviously, they're calling like Julio Teheran to come pitch for them because they need help in the starting rotation. The Mets, I just think that the team needs to just get rid of them all, scrap it, redo the whole thing, keep certain players maybe, but they're atrocious. The Marlins, you wanted to move your cornerstone player of Jazz Chisholm from second base, who I thought he was fine there. You moved him from shortstop to second, and now you put him in center field, and I just watched him today miss a fly ball in center field. Like, I don't understand some of the movement of some of these managers. And then out west, lastly, the NL West, it looks exactly how it should be. I feel like the Giants will surge up a little bit once they get acclimated with everybody new on the team. But the Dodgers, you know, they've got the biggest payroll in the world, so it's like having all of Google's top tier people over there, basically. So.
And what's your Padres take? Because I know you love to talk about the Padres.
They're a team that just like won't die. Like I read today, the beat writer was saying that they want to purge the Marlins. They want to get Jesus Luzardo and.
Man, that's quick already. Calm down.
They're wanting, like, you saw it in the offseason. They went and got Dylan Cease. Everybody was on that, and the Padres are like, we'll get another pitcher. Let's go get another one. As if you didn't have the reigning Cy Young guy and you didn't re-sign him, so you go get Dylan Cease. And I don't know, man. The Padres, they just do too much for me, and their uniforms are atrocious, man. They're gross.
That dude
look like
that
1980s.
uniform.
They look like 1980s McDonald's employees with those things on, man. And I don't know, man. But I love that baseball's back. I think I've watched it every day. It's really entertaining to watch to me. Obviously, the first few weeks is going to be a lot of jitters and getting acclimated. Pitchers will dominate more than hitters will, but we've seen a fair share of pitchers getting shellacked. And Sammy, who was your guy? That guy shelled for 8 runs today.
George Kirby.
Yeah, George Kirby.
We've also already seen a no-hitter, so there's that.
There was a lot of players too. I mean, Bryce Harper until yesterday didn't have a hit, and then he went berserk. But Chris Bryant, what a fall off this guy has. I mean, he just got paid and was just like, I'm gonna be a hippie out in Colorado, basically. I'll just get my money and just chill out here. So I don't know. I'm excited with baseball. I could sit here and talk forever, but you got to give me a topic to talk about. Otherwise, I'll
Yeah,
just
I'm
be off.
about to move on. But last question before I move on to some over unders and everything like that, and then we'll talk about our individual teams. Who's like the best young player that you've seen so far, or a player that people are not paying attention to and should?
I'm gonna say that kid from the Brewers, Jackson, whatever. Like
Florio?
yeah,
Yeah.
he's gonna be the real deal. I see what he possesses, and I saw that home run today, and I was just like, whew.
Yeah. I was watching it at work. I was like, damn, he's nice.
And the kid from the I shouldn't say the kid, the adult from the Giants too, the Korean guy that they got. He's gonna be really good too.
All right, cool. All right, so I got the over unders here. We'll obviously I'm gonna keep it to the AL East, and then I'll let you know if anything else is interesting. So over under to kick off the year, the Yankees were 91.5, Toronto at 86.5, Tampa Bay at 84.5, Baltimore at 90.5, Boston 77.5. I think last year y'all was at 85.5. So Vic, I mean, you guys are off to a pretty good start. 77.5 though. Like, you think y'all gonna be like the worst team in the AL East, Vic?
Yeah, no, I do. But let me see. I'm trying to find out how many games. How many games we won last year? We won 78 last year. This is the worst team this year. Yeah, give me the under.
Damn, Sammy, you too?
Agreed.
Damn, but I mean, obviously there's some positive that's happening early on. So what's working, and what do you think is not going to end up working at the end?
Who's
of the
the starting pitcher on that rotation?
So okay,
Bello.
What's working? What's Bayo? So
Bayo.
what's working is the pitching. What's also continuously, or the starting pitching, I should say. What's also continuously working is Rafael Devers. I'm not going to say hitting. I'm just going to say Rafael Devers. He's obviously the reason why we won as many games, or the reason why we've won as many games as we have. What's not going to work is the pitching, because we don't have the depth. So these arms are going to look good early, and then they're going to fall off. And I really, there's a lot of big talk about us getting Andrew Bailey and what he's doing with his pitching staff and how he's changing things. And I saw it yesterday again. Oakland, right? Just the Oakland game. Pretty much not a baseball team, right? Like they're probably Steinbrenner High School.
Bananas.
Watching Tanner Houck, and I've been such a big Tanner Houck fan. He has not panned out. He could never hit the fucking strike zone. But watching him deal yesterday, I was like, there's something different with how he's pitching this year, and he's getting to the strike zone, and he's trying to paint the corners much better. So we will see if that pans out. I just don't think we have strong enough arms to last a full season. And Bayo might be the last leg standing, and we're probably going to get some guys that I don't even know what their names are by June. Sorry.
Damn. Vic, what's obviously you know what's working, but do you have like something to add to that? Basically, like, are we not seeing something?
No, they suck. I don't even think the pitching's. I mean, the pitching's working, but look at the sample size that we're talking about we're talking about the Oakland A's, probably the other cheapest team in the league, the first cheapest compared to us. We're probably number 2, right behind them. But yeah, the pitching is going to be terrible in the end. I think the bullpen's not going to hold up. The starting pitching, there's no freaking way the starting pitching holds up. Who was supposed to be our ace? Granted, it's early in the season. He's a young player. It's probably going to take him time to get ready. Brian Bello, he's not performed. He's probably been our worst starting pitcher so far this season.
Giolito was supposed to be our ace.
Well, yeah, true that. But, yeah, it is what it is. This team stinks. The bats are pretty not great. I would say they're average at best in the lineup. But, until this team actually decides to start spending money, this is how it's going to be. This is what life as a Red Sox fan.
It's crazy. All right, A-Rod. I know you're the happiest one on the set, so take it away.
I mean, I'll talk about the Red Sox too, really quick. I mean, I'm a clickbait person, and you guys saw it today with the whole DJ Burns thing. I was like, I'm all about this dude. Bleacher Report puts out some dumb shit. It always catches me when it's like top free agents or predictions for this. I looked at the predictions for the All-Star game, and they had your boy Cassis as the American League starter first baseman, and I was like, over Vlad Guerrero or Yandy Diaz, I don't see it, man.
He's
I
a slow
don't
starter, too.
Just wait, brother. Just
I
wait.
mean,
He's
I
a
hope.
slow starter.
He's one of the 4 reasons why I'm watching more Red Sox games this year than I probably did last year.
Right.
Is Cassis. And I told Vic today in our like Boston group chat, I'm like, these 4 guys, I'm invested in them, and I agree with one of our friends said that Rafi might just call it before the end of the season, right? He might just say, I want to get the fuck out of here. This is awful. And it's unfortunate that might happen. But seeing Bayo pitch as well as he has, and Cassis is going to hit, dude. Anyway, sorry. I interrupted.
So. No, I agree with you. I think it is, but to be a reserve, I would say, but not over the likes of Vlad Guerrero or Yandy Diaz. I think the first baseman campaign is very, very small.
Agreed with Vlad, but I don't agree with Yandy. But that's just me.
But anyways, the Red Sox woes. I like that they went and got that guy Hendricks. I think the bullpen is a little bit not get enough praise is how good the bullpen is, because even some of the guys like Cutter Crawford, I feel like he's more of a bullpen guy than a starter. We've just put him out there to be a starter at this point. At least you got rid of Schreiber, man. At least that guy's gone. So, but I don't know about the Red Sox. I'm more scared about the talent they have in the minors. Like, I want to see that kid Marcelo Meyer come up. I want to see what he brings to the table, because I think he's going to be a household name in the next like 3-4 years. He's going to be like the Xander Bogaerts we told that he was going to be, and he'll be really, really good. Now it's just getting Rafael Devers on board. But if you're telling me who's happy as a pig in shit, it's definitely me with the Yankees, man. That's for sure. So I was all not about signing Soto, but I'm loving the signing of Soto now. So
Jeez, like that's cheating. Y'all cheating for real.
Yeah, we're cheating. And what's the Dodgers doing?
That man broke my damn heart, man.
Yeah.
Man broke my damn heart.
I like seeing him there. I think we finally figured out the outfield. I think Verdugo's a good outfielder, whether he's in left or right. I've always liked him. Even when he was with the Red Sox, I thought that was a perfect trade chip to get from the Dodgers. But
what?
I mean, at that point, I'm not saying it was gonna equal out or anything like that, but you got their number 1 prospect in Verdugo.
But let me just put this stat out there. Mookie Betts this season so far has 5 home runs, 11 RBIs, and he's batting 500.
I know.
He wasn't their number 1 prospect, by the way. He was like he'd been in the league for I think 3 years by the time we got him. But
he was fresh off the end of the season coming into a new season. I was following that guy in the minors like nobody's business.
He was. Yeah, he was.
This is gonna end up being the Babe Ruth trade 2.0, the Mookie Betts trade.
No, it's bad. No, like for real, it's crazy. Like that y'all just let that get that out of your locker room or whatever. Like it's literally insane.
I mentally and emotionally cannot watch Dodgers games, even though I want to watch them fail. Like I just can't do it. I don't want to watch them fail because of Mookie, but it's just like, oh my god, it breaks my heart so fucking much.
That's crazy.
I'm happy with the Yankees are doing. The pitching is sus to me. It's really scary. The bullpen keeps us in all the time, like I say. Just when I think the bullpen sucks, they get some other guys that do their jobs and they look good. I just need Volpe to start. I need Volpe to have a good year this year. I mean, I know
he's going to have a good year. I drafted him. You know that. So
I hope he does. I like the lineup on paper. I just need LeMahieu back healthy, but Oswaldo showing he can be a good platoon guy.
91.5 over under.
I would say over right now the way they look. I would say over the way they look. I think they can win the division this year, and I'm not trying to homer that. I think the lack of the more of asking of Stanton to be that like number 2 guy when we know he's not. I know he's lost a lot of weight, and everyone's like, oh, it's going to be a bounce back year, but I've been saying it for like the last 3 years. Stanton is just a miss. Like that was a bad
trade. You figured it out. That was just like the Knicks have been figuring it out in basketball, getting the right pieces. It's like, all right, let's go. We need to go get that. You know what I mean?
think
So
Soto
yeah.
was going to be that guy though, but the way he gets on base, man, you got to get on base, and whatever he has to do to get on base, he'll do it. So I have to tip my hat to him, and I like seeing him in pinstripes or gray, whatever they want to wear. So.
And you guys are currently this was released like a week ago, but you guys are plus 141 to win the division. So leading that pack, whereas Boston is plus 2,110. That's crazy. Like they're like that's wild. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, I didn't know it was that bad, but holy shit! Like the Yankees are plus 1233 to win the World Series. Boston plus 12,021. Like I'm about to put $1 on the Red Sox just because. Like might as well. Shit, you never know. But I mean, outside of that, kind of just going through division for division. I mean, I didn't see anything that was like out of the ordinary. I mean, the Astros are off to a pretty shitty start. Which
Fuck those guys.
They're over under kicked off at like 92.5. So we'll see. With the Phillies, we're off to a. I don't really care for April with the Phillies because it's like this shit every year. So I know we'll hit our stride when we hit our stride. I think we just got to figure out, just figure some things out. I like some of the young talent that we have. My only thing I have to add to this baseball season is how much I miss Reese Hoskins. I'm watching the Brewers game at work today, and I saw him on the screen, and I saw him hit a home run, and I almost teared up, bro. I had one of those bad. It was very gray and gloomy outside today, and then I look over looking for comfort, and I see Reese Hoskins in a different jersey. It's not the same as Mookie Betts, obviously, not even close. But he was my favorite. He was one of my favorite Phillies. Like he was like my guy. I love Reese Hoskins. So for him not to be with the squad no more,
Get over it.
It hurts, bro.
Get over it. So
Nah, bro, it hurts. That was my boy, though. It hurts. But that's all I got. But hey, Ryan, is there anything else in baseball you want to kind of follow? Do you have like any predictions as far as like, Cy Young, MVP, anything like that?
Keep holding on to Paul Skeens, man. That guy's gonna get called up soon, man.
Boy, but y'all, I don't know if y'all know, but I got Paul Skeens as a keeper from last year. I cannot wait for that call up because he's balling in them. He's balling on these hoes in the minors. So. Yeah, what is he in AAA now? They've
got to call if they keep the pace at number one in the division, they gotta call that kid up.
Before or after Memorial Day, what's your prediction?
Depends if the Pirates are wearing white or not.
Cool. Whatever that means, cool. Yeah, Paul Skeens.
White after Labor Day, so.
Have y'all seen? Hey, Rod, you see my fantasy team?
Yeah.
How I look?
It's all right. It ain't better than mine.
Be honest.
It ain't better than mine.
Man, I'm about to kill y'all. Sam, y'all did fantasy at all?
Yeah, I had no idea we were doing the draft. Mine's all auto drafted in there.
Just we in there? I'm not in there. You in there, A-Rod?
The what?
You said it was auto drafted?
In Sammy's league, yeah.
Ah, shit. All right, well, good luck. All right, well, that's all I got, bro. What do you got to let your naysayers know, bro? A-Rod, go ahead. Nah, Vic. What do you got to let your naysayers know?
I hate the Red Sox. This is the most depressing conversation we've had on this podcast in a long time.
Is that you that down bad with them?
It's just there's no promise in sight. There's no top prospect. I mean, I guess Marcelo Meyer, but and Roman Anthony, but and they're not even like quote unquote stars like in the making. They're not Skeens. They're not like a TJ Edwards was when he was coming up. You know what I mean? It's just it is what it is.
I'm sorry, dog. Samuel, what you got to let your naysayers know, bro?
I agree with Vic, and you can ask Vic. Even when we were in Ohtani Sports, like I was the one trying to bring the positivity to the Red Sox, and 3 years ago when we had that went on that run, and everybody was like, "Oh, this team's gonna suck." I was one of the people that was like, "This team's gonna be good." This year, I literally have zero. Like I'm literally grasping at straws to like be positive about it, and it's really only about like 3 guys. Like that's it.
It's crazy. It's the Red Sox. Like this does not sound normal to me. Like, is it like again? I'm not plugged in like y'all are. Is it that bad?
I will say this though. I've been listening to more of the Boston radio because I want to hear the beat. I want to hear what people are saying. There's a lot of people watching the Red Sox, and I think they're all watching it for the same purpose. They're waiting for this to crash and burn. Damn. They're waiting. Every fan, because they're loyal as fuck. They're all waiting. Like it's the people calling in are like almost like that Bobby Dahlbeck thing. Like sit that fucking guy down. I mean, they're all saying they're trying to get, Dahlbeck's head. They're trying to get Trevor's story and be like, where the fuck is this guy? You know what I mean? And all this other stuff. So it's bad. We're down bad. We are down bad.
Golly, man, y'all let the Orioles pass y'all by. All right, A-Rod.
Y'all had Alberto Mondesi's son too. What happened to him?
A-Rod, talk to your naysayers, bro.
Man, New York sports, it's hard for me, man. The Jets, it looks great on paper. It looks great on paper, but come on, man. Look what happened last year. I just want to sniff a playoff once. The Knicks, Thibs is doing it to me with the knees, and then the players and everyone's like, we're going on this losing streak now. And the Yankees, it looks really, really good, but we all know what Aaron Boone's going to do somehow, not know how to manage a game. So I'm high on all my teams this year. I really am. I'm keeping the positivity. So don't chop me down. Don't cut me down. What's Dave Chappelle say? Don't punch down on me.
At least you got more than one team that's competing. Like,
but listen,
literally just have the Celtics.
Let me explain from my perspective, naysayers. Eagles fan, made it to the Super Bowl, lost. Phillies fan, made it to the World Series, lost. Sixers fan, get James Harden. We beat Boston. We're up on Boston, lost. Now it's like, trust the process again, and this and that. So you want to talk about heartbreak, A-Rod? I feel you, brother. I feel you.
I would love to be in a Super Bowl and lose to see what it feels like to be in a Super Bowl.
Oh, no, bro. That shit hurts, dog. It hurts.
Okay, you've gotten to see Super Bowls. I've never sniffed one ever in my life.
Real quick. If we get a Yankees-Dodgers World Series, who we
I'll kill myself.
A-Rod, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm cheering for the Dodgers. No offense. I'm cheering for the Dodgers, bro. Just so you know.
Same.
I'm trying to see some shit. So
I want to kill myself. I literally want to kill myself.
I don't have that kind of hurt in my heart because they ain't done shit to me. The Yankees are the last team. Well, God, when we were supposed to go back to back, we lost to the Yankees in the World Series. So that's part of the reason why I still hate the Yankees. But the Dodgers, I ain't got no issues with them. I mean, they good. They good. You know what I mean?
Y'all are some bitches. I just say that right now. All three of you.
You gonna ask these Red Sox to cheer for you?
That's what you are.
You gonna ask me the Red Sox?
I would never fucking root for you guys.
Come on,
you could be playing fucking Hitler. I'd still root for it.
Bro, the Washington Nationals made the World Series. I hated it. The Braves made the World Series. I hated it. I didn't give a shit who they were playing. Play the Cheetahs, the Astros. I don't give a shit who they was playing. So yeah, I ain't doing that. Marlins. I would say the Marlins are like the only team that I've been like, whatever. I don't mind if y'all win. It's like the same thing with in NFL.
Washington next year. That's why.
Washington, the Redskins or the football team, whatever. If it's them, I'm like, whatever. I ain't really a threat. It's cool. Y'all can go ahead and win. So that's the only two teams that would be like, whatever. So, but yeah, where can they find us, A-Rod?
You can find us on Twitter at @fair_weather_pod. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Search the Fair Weather Podcast, or you subscribe or listen to podcast audio. You can catch us there. Somebody take it away.
Real quick. First of all, can they find us on TikTok yet?
There is no real quick on this show.
Can they find us on TikTok yet?
They will this week. I'm actually texting you guys right now. So yeah.
My dog Sammy said we about to be on the TikTok. I just want to know. I haven't used Facebook in like a month and a half, so please keep that shit going. TikTok, go ahead, Sammy. But I will give the floor to Sammy to give us some words of wisdom. Putting you on the spot. You be ready, dog. You either ready or you not. Come on. Give us some words of wisdom.
I'm not ready. Sorry.
They're supposed to be here.
My words of wisdom, y'all. Take care of your chicken and your mentals and everything that Marshawn Lynch said, because he once did say, I might get got, but I'm gonna get mine too. That's all I got. Peace.